All right, ladies and gents, we should be live. A little more in baseball. I was very excited about the trade the Brewers made yesterday that you sent me or told me about. I'd kind of seen it a little bit earlier, but I think that's a nice ad to get Eduardo Escobar. But I'm really excited to see what kind of plays out today.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what plays out today. I mean, big moves. The Yankees getting Gallo. Trades happening all over the place. I love the trade deadline, and I'm sure we'll see a lot more action today and tomorrow.
Yes, we will. Which we got Max Scherzer on this slate. You mentioned COVID. I mean, him being traded today is a real distinct possibility. So we don't really know what's going to happen with that game.
No, we don't. I think that you got to kind of just wait and see. I wanted to get an early start on the write-up, but it's tough, without knowing about that game.
Definitely. It's yellow, orange for weather. There's COVID issues. Max Scherzer is highly on the trade block. So, I mean, just have all those things in the back of your mind if you're looking at Mad Max today. So I wanted to make sure we pulled up the weather because one of the things I think is pretty important is to know that in the Cincinnati versus Chicago game, winds are blowing in from left, quote unquote, with gusto. And we had a couple of pitchers in that game. Cheaply, you got Alec Mills, and then you got Luis Castillo, who has been just better and better as the season progressed. So it is good pitching weather in Chicago today.
It's interesting. Yeah, nice to know because I was looking at both pitchers in that game, especially with Scherzer being an unknown. Definitely for me, I'm looking at the top four guys, really.
Yeah, so do you have favorites in there? I mean, it's like we talked about with Max. It's hard to even know what to think about him right now.
Yeah, I do think Cole's my favorite. I know, he hasn't been as dominant start in and start out with the sticky stuffs and stuff. That being said, he has shown upside, a couple times recently. Tampa Bay strikes out a lot. It is a scarier lineup now, adding Nelson Cruz. He also strikes out, though. So, I mean, look at that. It's been a tough road for him. 3 games against Boston, 1 against Houston in his past 5. So he's my favorite here, even if Scherzer's good to go.
Okay. I mean, Cole has the most upside.
Yeah, I think so, too. What's your take on it?
I have really no idea what to think about Garrett Cole right now. Right when I thought everything was over, he came out with one of the more dominant pitching, performances that we've seen all season. 9 innings strong against a good Houston team, 12 Ks. And you're like, okay, all right. And then he follows it up with a nice, strong 11K performance. Last time out, he was all right. I mean, from a real-life perspective, not a bad start. The DFS points were spectacular. So I'm not really sure who Garrett Cole is right now. I think his upside's the biggest. I don't trust him, but I just don't really know what to think of this guy.
I have no arguments with that whatsoever.
All right. I like Castillo. The price is raising, but the price should be raising. This is a good pitcher who had an awful start to the season. He was pitching poorly, and as you've mentioned a few times, he was also really getting bad luck to go on top of it. So those two things snowballed on him. He now has double digits in 10 straight, and his last couple performances have been really, really good. I like Castillo at 8,800.
Yeah, I like that call too. Cubs potentially dealing guys. He's been good. Weather, I'm on board with that for sure.
Yeah, much easier to pitch in Wrigley with the wind blowing in, no doubt about it. And then we have Carlos Rodon that I kind of scooted right over. It's been solid all season long. The consistently high performances have not been there quite as often. What is odd is that both him and Cole have monster performances against Houston in their game log right now.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess a get-up spot sometimes works out for the pitcher there. I was looking at Rodon. I mean, more in play for me if Scherzer's out of play. Not sure I want to spend all that money, but I mean, he has been really good this year, and he's clearly got the upside. So he's on the short list, if nothing else.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Kansas City's no good. All right, Walker? Nah, not for me.
No. He's an awful right now.
Yeah, Velasquez, no thank you. I know you're not spending $7,700 on him, even if this game's good to go. Cueto, that's too much for him. Drew Smiley, nah. If we go cheap, for me, it's Alec Mills.
I don't think Smiley's crazy. I do like Mills more. I also don't think Pitino's crazy because he's one of their top pitching prospects, and the Yankees strike out a lot. I don't think Smiley or Pitino are crazy. I do like the Mills call more though.
Okay. My computer's acting slow right now. There we go. All right. Anybody else down here that's worth mentioning?
Not really.
Okay. Yeah, I guess, like I said, Alec Mills is me, my guy. You mentioned a couple others. So there are cheap options, which is always good to know.
For sure, which is nice to keep in your back pocket, especially if Scherzer's out of play.
Definitely. And especially if you don't trust Castillo, Rodon, or Cole, you know what I mean? You have options. You can go cheaply. If you look through these offenses, good to know. So the first game, Washington, Philly, Scherzer against Velasquez. This game is a scheduled doubleheader, so you're only getting 7 innings, assuming that it even plays. Obviously, the Washington guys are in play because we're not Monster Velasquez fans, but I'm probably not prioritizing these guys in a 7-game slate.
Yeah, I'm with that for sure.
All right. Atlanta against New York. You mentioned earlier that Taijuan Walker has definitely dipped as the season's progressed.
Yeah, he just does not look good right now. Gotten shelled a couple times recently. I think Atlanta's in play here.
Yeah, they've been pretty productive offensively in a bunch of the games, even without Acuna.
Mm-hmm.
So any specific players in this game, or just really the Atlanta stack as a whole? Obviously, Freddie Freeman's like the guy.
Yeah, Freeman, Peterson, Albies, just the main guys. I doubt Atlanta gets a ton of love on this slate.
Well, it's a nice sleeper stack then, right?
For sure.
All right, Cole versus Pitino. Any interest in offenses in this game?
Yeah, I think that the Yankees are definitely in play against Pitino. I mentioned he's one of their better prospects, but the Yankees, finally healthy a little bit. Judge didn't start yesterday, but came in the game. Sure, he'll be right back in there. They're cheap too. Stanton's cheap. Judge is affordable. Torres. So, yeah, they make sense.
Is it G-Man Choi that has monster numbers off of Cole, or is that yeah?
I was about to mention him. So, yeah. The Rays have some nice power. So, if you want to pick out one of their bats, Choi, Brandon Lau, I get that. Choi's the one with big BVP. So, yeah.
All right. So can we assume that the White Sox get love today then?
Yeah, I would imagine so. And it's hard not to like them here. They've been decently popular. They were popular yesterday. It didn't do anything. But, man, hard not to like them in this spot, on this slate.
Definitely. Did Eloy Jimenez end up being popular yesterday? As we kind of thought.
Oh, yeah, he was real popular.
That's what we figured. So, you know who the guys are in the White Sox: Abreu, Tim Anderson. Then you got some cheap guys all over the place, but they're in a good spot today, so they do make a lot of sense.
Agreed.
I like the pitching in this next game, Cincy versus Chicago, so the offenses just don't do it for me.
Yeah, I'm with that. I'm sure there's, we kind of said the same thing yesterday. Joey Votto is on absolute fire. So, I'm sure he'll be really popular.
And this has been his best run and his best season in a long time. And you're not kidding. When you're talking about fire, this guy has 7 hits over his past 5 games, and they've all left the yard. This is like old school MVP Votto.
We talk about, God, hottest hitter in baseball. He is the hottest hitter in baseball right now, unequivocally.
That is a lot of home runs recently. Good Lord. All right.
His underlying metrics for power, the best since his second year in the league also.
Good for him.
Yeah. So, again, I don't love the red stack, but Votto and Winker, yeah, I can get on board there.
All right. And then Price against Cueto. How many pitches is Price throwing these days?
They're working him up to be a real starter.
I guess he's not crazy then at 5,700. If you really like expensive offenses.
I don't think he's crazy, but I think a lot of that is just because based on the name David Price.
Yeah, well, price tag. Price and price.
Yeah, yes, price and price for sure.
So, again, I still prefer Alec Mills, more upside, deeper pitching and everything like that. And the Giants are a team that we have tons of respect for. Their record has every reason to say that. Dodgers against Cueto?
Yeah, again, the Dodgers are one of these teams like Desclafani, man. You mentioned having such a great year. Can't get by the Dodgers, so wouldn't be shocked to see them get to Cueto here either. They put up 8 runs last night.
Bellinger with a rare home run. The more I talk this over, though, for me, it definitely seems like the White Sox are going to be super popular.
Yeah, I agree with that. Super popular, right? Especially because you talk about the weather in this Cubs game. I do think the Reds get love, though, especially if they're looking at this slate. The Reds will get love. I could see both sides of the Atlanta Mets game getting a little bit of love.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it makes me like I'm sure Atlanta's not like super low owned, but I could definitely get on board with them because they're going to be lower owned than the White Sox.
Way lower owned. The White Sox are definitely going to be the chalk offense. And I think on the same token as like, I don't like them as much as the Braves, but I don't think a couple of Giants against Price is crazy either.
No, not at all. Especially because you're going to get 5 innings or 4 innings from bullpen working there as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it allows you to spend up on pitchers because those guys are never expensive and didn't like many of the cheap pitchers. So, yeah.
Oh, another point for San Fran though. Also, last game, so you're going to have to guess on their lineup. It's going to really keep their low ownership even lower.
Yeah, most definitely. 100% agree with that.
So, all right, guys. To sum up, White Sox chalk. Sounds like we're kind of vibing on Atlanta as like a secondary stack, a little bit lower owned, but I'm sure you will double check on ownership percentages when they come out. San Fran looks to be a little bit of a sleeper. Maybe that whole last game is a little bit of a sleeper because it's so much later and you probably won't get the starting lineups till like right up until first pitch, if not afterwards.
Agreed. And also, like, the ballparks out west play so much better during the day for offense.
Definitely. No doubt about it, guys. So nice pitching weather in Chicago. So depending on what you want to do offensively, sounds like you're probably Cole Castillo if you can make that work.
Yeah, I'm probably Cole Castillo. I do like the Mills call though. Like if I want to spend up on offense, I just don't know if I'm going to need it.
Yeah, for sure. Mills was not great from a DFS perspective last time out, but he just didn't get any strikeouts against Arizona. He didn't pitch poorly. And he had, 20 strikeouts over his previous 3 starts. So I wouldn't say he's huge upside, but at his price tag, I feel pretty good about getting 15 here, which I'm okay with at this price tag.
Yeah, I'm more than fine with using him here. I just don't necessarily need to prioritize him. Like if I can get up to Castillo, I'd rather use Castillo. You know what I mean?
Right. Like Garrett Cole could double him. Like easy peasy.
Yes,
And that's even if he pitches all right.
for sure. Although that said, like Cole has not been impervious to getting hit, and Tampa's hit him in the past. So it's interesting to talk about, if nothing else.
Tampa's always such an interesting matchup because they're a good baseball team, but they also strike out so
Yeah.
much. So there's always really good upside there, but you always feel like you're running a little bit of a risk
Yeah.
because they are a good baseball team.
It's like the type of thing where, like, and I think you'll agree with this. If a pitcher like Cole has his stuff today, like he could dominate Tampa. They strike out a ton, etc. But if he doesn't, like, this is not a spot where he's going to be able to like finagle out of it with, and get, because he's going through a ton of good hitters.
Yeah, no questions about it. So if you're trying to be different today, guys, bottom portion of the White Sox lineup. Otherwise, try to get off of them because the longer we review this, the more I think they're just overwhelming chalk.
I have no arguments with that.
So best of luck today, and we will see you guys soon. Or Matt will see you guys soon, and I will probably see you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.